Kyle Busch, NASCAR driver.
This year, my fiance and I, Samantha Sarcinello, will be traveling to over 50 cities, competing in over 80 races, also planning the New Year's bash of a lifetime, our wedding.
Kyle said racing's all about me, so this wedding can be all about whatever you envision. I don't like furs, but I figure the animal would have been dead by now anyways. Oh, it's beautiful.
It looks like she goes, okay, well, I like it, so we're going with it.
Our families aren't gonna eat, they're just gonna stand. There's things I like and there's things I don't like.
I'm just there for the beer.
Give us a little spin.
Life as a NASCAR couple is really busy. We're either at the track, at an appearance, or traveling from city to city. But this year, our lives got a whole lot busier because we're getting married.
I'm Kyle Busch, NASCAR driver. I get quite a few nicknames offered to me up through the seasons.
Kyle, please, stop!
The nickname Rowdy came about a few years ago. I was getting in a little bit of trouble here and there, but it just kind of stuck. It's just been there ever since.
Kyle and I met at a racetrack. I was a promotional model.
I knew she was a promo girl, but she thought I was a promo guy. I saw her from a distance, so I figured I'd get her to come over, actually ask her if she wanted to go for a ride. She did not know I was a race car driver.
We texted and talked on the phone for quite a number of months. He was really shy, so it took a while to kind of like break that. And I kind of got to see Kyle the person, not Kyle the race car driver.
My career, of course, it's always on TV. When you grow up in the limelight.
Kyle, nice bit of driving tonight.
Thanks a lot, Curtis.
Whether it's good, whether it's bad.
That's pretty much the only way I knew how to be. Well, Sam came along and changed all that.
Most people would say that I have improved since I've met Samantha and that she brings out the best in me. Samantha and I, we both try to run Kyle Busch Motorsports to the best of our ability. She does a lot with the foundation. She does a lot with the retail. I do a lot of the behind-the-scenes work with the sponsorships and with the personnel and being able to get the company operational.
I love how passionate Kyle is. I mean, he puts all his effort into everything he does, whether it's racing or us, whatever it is, he really goes all for it. I like that he doesn't like half-ass anything.
My schedule's always pretty packed throughout the year. From February to November, every weekend we're at the racetrack.
We're on the road a lot. He's doing his thing, I'm doing my thing, so we really try to make time for us as a couple. We learn to kind of really appreciate the time that we do have together. The foundation next year, we're working on doing an event in Charlotte and one in Texas. People kind of see the more quiet, stronger side of Kyle, but I get to see the cute side, like him rolling around with the dogs or, you know, just us being cute.
I think my favorite thing about Samantha is just how family-oriented she is.
Growing up outside of Chicago in a huge Italian family really made me who I am today. I don't know where I'd be without my parents and my brother, and I can't wait for Kyle and I to start a life like that. My favorite thing about Kyle is just the way that he makes me feel. He's very affectionate, and I love it because it makes me feel really good, and that's one of my favorite things about him.
I think we're different in some ways where I'm maybe a little bit more reserved. She's a bit outgoing.
Oh, it's hysterical. We're day and night, and I think that's why it works. You know, I'm really outgoing and bubbly, and he was a little more shy. I feel like Kyle and I balance each other really well.
Well, the reason you can't stand very well is probably your shoes.
I can stand. I'm just getting sea legs when I stand up sometimes.
Nice shoes, honey.
Between our different personalities and our work ethics, somehow it just works together to make us both better people.
I knew she was the one after a few months of just seeing her and dating her. I kept telling people, like, this is the girl. I'm going to marry this girl. Everybody else told me I was crazy, but I was right. Well, I knew before going into the proposal that I needed to ask Samantha's father for her hand in marriage.
You have a hat on so they can see the shine. No,
I think Kyle was very nervous asking Steve, being the Italian dad, and I'm sure Steve had something to say such as, you hurt my daughter, you know. I think his famous line is, you could drive a race car with one broken leg, but not with two.
But not with two.
Well, I kept waiting and waiting before I would propose to her because she was expecting it, and so when I finally sprung it on her, she had no idea.
Kyle and I had talked about getting married, but You know, I just thought maybe we'll get the race team started first, or maybe we'll see how the season starts.
We're in Daytona for our first race weekend of the year, and it was going to be our first night in our new motorhome, which basically was our new house together. So I figured what better moment than now to propose.
And he got down on one knee, and I just remember being like, are you kidding right now? I mean, I did not see it coming. I had no idea. I think I said, are you F-word kidding me? In a good way, because I was really excited. And then he said, will you marry me? And I just stood there in shock and kind of cried.
I never got an answer. The story behind the engagement ring was just trying to get her something that she really wanted.
Wow. Oh, look, honey, they look all the same. I didn't want to go with a store-bought ring because I felt like she would just kind of feel like too many people might have the opportunity to buy something like that or to wear something like that. She really wanted something unique. It took me about 5 months to design the ring and build the ring.
My engagement ring is a one-of-a-kind. It's a princess-cut stone that they turned kite style, which means they just flipped it to be a diamond shape instead of a square. And then they kind of did a scalloped border around it, and I'm just in love with it. I had no idea an engagement ring could be so awesome. The first thing I want to find for the wedding is my dress. It's pretty much one of the most important parts of the wedding. I found Michael Cinco online, and now I'm pretty much stalking him. I love his work. His dresses have feathers and jewels and beadwork like I've never seen before. But he's in Dubai, so it's kind of complicated. I've emailed every email address I can find for him. I've called his secretary. I'm hunting him down until I get him. Hands down, the designer for me is Michael Cinco. I think a wedding is kind of like a little girl's fantasy. You know, it doesn't matter how old you are. Girls are always going to look at the bridal magazines or think about if they got married, this is how they would do it. I just want the wedding to be magical. I want people to walk into our wedding and just be wowed by the decorations, the flowers, and kind of how it's really different and funky. I really like my own kind of style. Ooh, feathers. I just want people to be like, that was the coolest wedding I've ever went to. We had such a good time. I just want my guests, our guests, to be really happy.
Weddings in Chicago because most of her family's within 30 minutes of the city.
Ever since I was a little girl, I've known I wanted to get married in Chicago. It's just the perfect place.
We knew we had to choose somewhere in the off season, and so our race season goes from February to November, and then you kind of have the holidays and stuff, but New Year's Eve seemed like it'd be the best fit. We could have a really big blowout.
Once we decided to get married in Chicago, we knew we wanted to get married at Holy Name Cathedral.
My wedding planner and I had a long talk in the beginning of this process, and I don't want to miss any of the wedding. I've heard stories of brides where they didn't get to eat or dance or enjoy any time with their guests. That's why we decided a 7-hour reception was appropriate.
Samantha and I started working together shortly after they got engaged.
Susan is my wedding planner. She's the owner of Big City Bride.
We had only about 10 months to make it happen, which is kind of a short time in the scheme of weddings.
We were looking at a lot of different venues in Chicago, but I know Samantha really has her heart set on the Cultural Center.
The first problem is that the Chicago Cultural Center is closed on New Year's Eve. But the second I walked in, I said, this is the place. I can't picture us having our reception anywhere else. Look at the ceiling. She said, okay, what's your first choice? I said, Chicago Cultural Center. She said, second choice? I said, Chicago Cultural Center.
The New Year's Eve thing was more of a hurdle than I even realized.
I know there's a lot of hurdles to getting the Chicago Cultural Center on New Year's Eve, but my gosh, it's just stunning. I can't picture us having our reception anywhere else.
Samantha is her own type of bride. She works really hard at making sure that it's her way and a way that it's never been done before.
I'm not a bridezilla or anything, but I know what I want, and if it's not done right, I get a little testy. Do you love it? I love it.
We were there and she goes, what do you think of that? And I'm like, it looks like she goes, okay, well, I like it, so we're going with it.
Stop going crazy.
But it's our invitations. They have to look nice.
They don't have to be $100 a piece.
Yes, they do.
You pay for them.